Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to find factors, find factors and multiples of a given number. Okay, and this is video 152. Alright, our first question says draw a ring around the number which is not a factor of 60. You have to be careful that you read the question really carefully because these are kind of tricky questions if you're not paying attention. It does say the word not, okay? So we're looking for a number that is not a factor of 60. And if you come down here, I've done a quick review of what a factor is. You need to remember that factors are numbers when you multiply them together give you a third number. So in this case, the number 2 and 3 are both factors of 6. Okay? That's different from multiples, which I've done an example of here. Multiples, for example, of 6 are basically the numbers from the multiplication table. So if you want the multiples of 6, the multiples of 6 are going to be from the times tables, 6, 12, 18, 24, and so on. Okay? You have to keep these in mind, okay, because it can get quite confusing. I would suggest that if you have a question like this, where a number is not a factor of 60, take a few minutes and write down what you think the factors of 60 are. Okay, so obviously 12 times 5, okay, 30 times 2, okay, and you just keep writing the factors down here to the side, okay, and that'll help you answer a question like we've got here. Okay, so the factors, the number that is not a factor of 60, well, 1 is a factor of pretty much every number. Okay, well, in fact, it is a factor of every number. 2 could be, because it's right there. Okay, so we don't want 2. Do we want 3? Well, we know that 60 could be divided by 3, okay, and that would be 20, so we don't want that one. And what about 7? Well, 7, on the 7 times table, 60 doesn't really appear, so we can take that. Of course, we'll check our work before we go on to the next question, okay? So, but 7 sounds like a good candidate. And what about 10? Well, obviously, 6 times 10 is going to be 60, so we don't want that one. So it looks like 7 is going to be our answer. So a quick double check is to just write out the 7 times table. If you know it really well, then you could do it in your head. If you don't know it so well, it would be better to write it down. Okay, so we've got, let's start at 7 times 7. So 7 times 7 is 49. Okay. Then we have 56. Okay, 63. Okay, and there you go right there. So we know that 7 is not a factor of 60. Okay, because it's not appearing in the times table. All right. Okay, let's go to the next one. Draw a ring around the number which is not a multiple of 9. Okay, well, again, you have to know the 9 times table in order to be able to do this sort of question. Okay, so you could just write out the multiples of 9. Remember, multiples are here. Okay, so it's basically the 9 times table. So does 9 appear on the 9 times table? Yes, it does, but we don't want that because we're looking for not a multiple of 9. So we don't want 9. Do we want 18? No, we don't, because it's on the 9 times table. 36? No, we don't want that one. That's on the times tables. 45? Yeah, 5 times 9 is 45. We don't want that one. And what about 25? Well, if we go 18 and 27, from our times tables, we can see there's a gap there. 25 would go in the gap, but it's not on the times table, so we would circle it. Okay. All right, next question. Draw a ring around the number, which is a factor, which is a factor of 48. All right, so we are looking for a number from this group of numbers, which, when we multiply it with another number, remember what factors are, will make the number 48. Okay, so does 48 come in the 3 times table? Well, if you are thinking very carefully, 3 times table goes from 3 times 0 basically to 3 times 12, but 48 might be further along than 12. It might be 3 times 13 or 3 times 14, okay? So you have to be very careful that you check all the possible numbers, okay? Now, you could also do division, where you go 48 divided by 3, okay? And I know that 3 is actually a factor of 48, so we can circle that one. But so is 4. So be careful that sometimes they give you a question where there's actually 2 answers, okay? So you need to double check your work. If you're not sure, always check your work before you go on to the next question. Okay? Let's go on to another example. Draw a ring around the number which is a multiple of 13. Okay, well, again, remember, multiples are down here. Multiples are basically a statement of the times table, so they're basically asking you, what are the answers that appear on the 13 times table? Well, obviously 12 is not going to be on the 13 times table, so we don't need that. 35 is not going to be on the times table. Okay, and because, well, I'll explain that. 35 is not going to be on the times table because it would be, the 13 times table would be 13, 26, 39. Okay, so 35 doesn't appear there. 40 doesn't appear. Okay, this one looks like a possibility because it's appeared when I wrote out the 13 times table there, so that's going to be the one we're looking for. And 13 does not appear on the 51 does not appear on the 13 times table either, so that one's out. Okay, so this is our answer. Okay, right, so that's how you do these types of questions. It's very important that you keep in mind the difference between factors and multiples, that you are very comfortable with writing out the multiplication tables for various numbers, and that if you need to, you can do some quick division of a 2-digit number by a 1-digit number like we did here. Okay? If you're not very good on those things, I suggest that you brush up on them. It will make your life easier. Okay, good luck.